we're going to give our NFC predictions for each division. And let's start off with the first division, the NFC East, as some like to say the NFC least. Let's talk about them. You know, who's going to win this division?
You wanted to die from... Okay, I got something for you, too.
You know, what teams are going to have what records? You know, what do you believe? First off, let's start off with Washington. I think Washington is going 9-8 this season. I think they're going to be a great team. Last year, they lacked offense, and they got that with the moves they made in free agency, getting Curtis Samuel, drafting Diami Brown, signing Adam Humphries, and Fitzpatrick. I think he's better than Alex Smith. He's better than Kyle Allen, Heineke, and even what they had in Dwayne Haskins last year. So I think they're going to go 9-8. I think they will win this division. I have the Giants going 8-9, Dallas going 7-10, and the Eagles going 6-11.
You know, our list is you had football team
9-8.
No, I don't want to. You have football team Dallas. Okay.
Football team Giants Dallas.
Oh, okay. So yeah, me and you have the same list. I feel like Washington's gonna win the division. I think that defense is just so elite that even if the offense isn't what it is, the defense will be able to carry them throughout the season, especially in that division. I got New York. I got New York coming up right behind them. Okay. I think Daniel Jones is gonna have a good year, especially with the additions of Kenny Golladay. They still got Sterling Shepard. They have Slayton, who played really well last year. Saquon's coming back. You still got that talented running back. And their defense is good. It's no slouch out there defensively. They still got Bradbury, too. The defense is a solid core, so I got them at 2. Dallas, the Star Boys, they'll be 3rd. They'll be cool. I just think that defense still needs a lot of fixing. Their offense is going to be one of the best in the league statistically. But I just think, that defense still needs a lot of work. Zeke, we don't know. Zeke hasn't been the same since his rookie. He's been slowly regressing since his rookie year. But, they still got CeeDee Lamb. They still got Amari Cooper. So offensively, they'll still be dominant. But I think, defense is in there. And then my boys, we just don't have – I think our offensive line, like you said, it's been healthy, but we always get it healthy, and then they start to get the injuries late. We get Brandon Brooks back, so I think that's dope. But
Brandon Brooks.
No, he tore his ACL.
Offensive lineman?
Yeah, he didn't play last year. We get him back. Lane Johnson, he's feeling healthy. Jason Kelsey's back. New coach, new system. Jalen Hurts, we got a receiver. So we're still young. We still have time to grow. I don't think we'll be that good, but I think we'll be competitive within the division.
Wait, so what do you think the Eagles record is going to be?
I think we're gonna win like 4 or 5 games. I had Washington 10-7. I had Giants 9-8. I had Dallas 8-9, and then we're gonna win like around 4 or 5 games. I don't think we'll win 6. We win 6, it's lit, but it doesn't really matter. We'll be the worst in the division.
Just backpack of what you said. I think the Eagles probably win 4 games. I think they go 4-13. I just think overall defensively they're still really bad. I do believe Jalen Hurts takes a step up this season. I do believe Devonta Smith's going to have a really good season. Again, I believe Jalen Reagor's going to have a breakout season, but the crutch, the downfall of this team is going to be, crutch is a good thing. So the downfall of this team is going to be their defense.
You think so?
I do.
Our defense is
what part of the defense?
So yeah, I'm confused.
Our defense, Darius Slay is still getting, he's older. He got cooked a bunch of times. I'm not in love with your secondary.
They signed Steven Nelson. And Anthony Harris from Minnesota.
No, our secondary is our worst part, but our defense overall is good.
Fletcher Cox, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Derek Barnett.
Our run defense has always been at the top of the
Javon Hargrave.
I do believe that the defensive line still it regresses a little bit from last season.
That's fair.
Fletcher Cox is exactly. I just think that another year older, not much talent added on the interior side. Fletcher Cox is obviously one of the more talented guys in the league, but overall, I'm looking at the.
I just want to let you know if you did see bad defense last year, it was because of our bad offense that led to our bad defense. Being on the field consistently.
And I do believe that your offense was bad last season because you mentioned the offensive line was really banged up. Now you bring these pieces back. I do believe that it's going to give Jalen Hurts a little bit more time in the pocket. And even if the pocket starts collapsing, I do believe Jalen Hurts has the ability to scramble outside. I don't trust his ability to throw on the run as much as I trust him to go and scramble for a first down. Now, I do believe Miles Sanders is going to be in line for a big role this season. He's a good pass-catching back. He is really good. You just hand the ball off to him and you ask him to make something happen. He actually led the league in 50-yard rushes, I believe.
You're talking about Sanders, right?
Yeah, Miles Sanders. He was really solid last season. But ultimately, I do believe that it's not going to be enough to make them a winning team this season. I think third place is actually going to be the Giants. I think they're going to go 7-9. I do believe that their defense is really solid, but I'm not sold on that offensive line.
7-10.
Yes, thank you very much. 7-10. I just don't believe in that offensive line. They need depth. They definitely more talent. Andrew Thomas really hasn't shown much up to this point. I'm not out on him yet. I just think that he still needs more time to develop. I think that they're forcing him to play left tackle right now, even though I believe his natural position is right tackle. And Nate Soldier, you signed him, and that was it's burned them terribly. He was not worth the contract that they ended up giving him. I'm not a fan as a whole of that offensive line. But you mentioned it. They have really good weapons. Obviously, Saquon. They just brought in Galladay. Sterling Shepard's solid for them. I feel like I'm blanking on another receiver. There's Darius Slayton was a touchdown threat for them, but I'm not looking too deep into Slayton. I'm not a huge fan of his this season. But defense, that's their strong point. They have a really solid defense. They definitely impressed me last season, which is the reason why they were winning some of their games. James Bradbury is a top corner in this league, but I just fear that the offensive line is going to make Daniel be under stress, and he's not going to be able to live or manage it well.
Yeah.
So just to let you know, PFF, after the end of the 2020 season, they did the defensive line rankings. The Eagles came second.
Okay.
No, that D-line is dope.
They're projecting them in 2021 to be the 5th ranked one.
Okay.
So
consistently,
defensive line is great.
Good, yeah.
I think secondary, you're right, but defensive line, I think they're going to be still great.
Okay, so to continue on my list here, Dallas, I think, is going to come in second. You mentioned it. Their defense, both of you guys mentioned it. Their defense really is still bad. Overall, their secondary is not good. They brought in Keanu Neal. I'm not a huge fan of that signing because he's so injury-prone. But I do believe that their offense is going to be able to win them games still. Dak is still a very efficient quarterback. Amari Cooper is still one of the best receivers in our league. CeeDee Lamb is an up-and-coming superstar, in my opinion. I think Ezekiel Elliott bounces back. You mentioned that he's regressed since his rookie season. I don't agree with that at all. I think he's improved his ability to be a pass-catching back as well. I believe that this offensive line, the misfortunes that they've had, Travis Fredericks getting retiring, Tyron Smith being in and out of the lineup, Zach Martin being in and out of the lineup, Lyle Collins being in and out of the lineup. That's what's been the primetime thing about the Cowboys for the past few years, even going back to when Roman was there, that this O-line is all world good, and it just hasn't been there together all at once in recent memory. But Zeke still has been able to manage with it. Last season, he wasn't great because obviously he didn't have Dak, but he still put up a respectable season, not what we come to expect out of him. But I believe now that Dak's back, now that this offensive line right now at least is somewhat healthy, I do believe Zeke has a comeback season. And I believe that they win 9 games. I think that this division is still not going to be great. But ultimately, number one, Washington football team, I think they win 10 games this season. They definitely have the best defense in this division. Offensively, I look for them to take a leap. They bring in Curtis Samuel. The offensive line, they lost Moses. Blanking on his last name. Help me out.
Morgan Moses.
Morgan Moses.
But they signed Charles Leno Jr.,
which I'm a fan of, but I'm mostly a fan of bringing in a quarterback that's not going to be afraid to throw the ball. Alex Smith is a game manager. He's always been that. Kyle Allen, whatever. Heineke played really good for being Heineke in a postseason game against the soon-to-be Super Bowl champions. And overall, I just think that I trust Ryan Fitzpatrick to win more games than what Alex Smith and those guys did last season. And Terry McLaurin and Curtis Samuel to benefit from Ryan Fitzpatrick being a gunslinger. And I think that given that how good that defense is, given how Ryan Fitzpatrick has shown the ability to be successful over these last few years, the Dolphins, Tampa Bay for a few games, I think that they definitely can get the job done. I think they win 10 games. 10-7 is more than enough to win this division, given the fact that it's not all too talented.
You said a lot of things there. You talk about the Cowboys. I think they could have a winning record, but, Dak, these past couple of years, he's put up the stats, but he hasn't won anything. I think I saw somebody message this in a Discord chat the other day, and I agree with it. They said Dak Prescott is a come-from-behind player.
Oh, you talking about Saucy?
Nah, it wasn't him. It was somebody else. But Dak Prescott, to this point, the last couple of years,
he does lead the league and come from behind stats.
The Dallas Cowboys, they start off really bad, including the offense and Dak. And then, the game I remember mostly is the game versus Green Bay. On prime time, it was America's game of the week. Green Bay is blowing him out, and that's when Dak starts to show up and pad his stats, and that's what he's been doing. Even this past season, him, all this talk about Dak Prescott being on a pace to set records and stuff. So was Russell Wilson. But Russell Wilson slowed down as the season progressed because that's what usually happens as teams figure out your offense. I don't think Dak was going to set any records this past season despite his hot start. I think it was just a small sample size where he played well, but I don't think he was going to do it for the entirety of the season. I think the Cowboys do finish second or third in the division. I actually think the Eagles' ceiling is high. I think the Eagles can finish second in this division. I know people are counting them out and saying that the Eagles are going to be last in this division, but I think their floor is winning 6 games. I think their ceiling is winning 9.
Well, if we win 9, that'd be dope.
Because I think that defensive line being a top 5 ranked unit, I would say more so top 10, getting Anthony Harris, who was ranked as a top 5 safety in the league with Minnesota, getting Steven Nelson, starting corner, to start alongside Darius Slay. Linebacking core is still not good. And then with that great offensive line, you said that you think Devontae Smith is a star right off the bat. Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz, Miles Sanders. I think they'll have enough to rack up wins, and they have the easiest schedule of all these teams. They face the Jets. They face the Lions. They face the Bengals, I believe. It's either the Bengals or the Texans. And the Jaguars, I think one of those as well. I could double check that, but the Eagles have the easier schedule, and they have a lot of games that are easily winnable. They have about 4 or 5 games on their schedule that I think I would favor them in those games. Because of that, I think they can easily win 6 and possibly win 9.